Hello, everyone. Since several of you seem to have a little bit of a problem figuring out where the bylines are and what information you need, I am sharing how to create an APA style reference. Okay, so as you can see on here, these are some of the types of references that most of you are using. Web page on a news website. Now, a web page on a news website is going to have the person's last name, comma, first initial, the date it was published, not the date that you collected the information, then the article title in italics, then the name of the website. So in this instance, it's HuffPost, and this is the URL. Now let's click on the URL and we can see how we found this information. Now, as you can see, here's our title. So that's the part that went in italics before. Here's the name of the news organization. And right here, this is called the byline. It gives us information about who wrote this, when it was published, and if it has any updates to it as well. Now, you can also include, sometimes they have a subtitle in it. In this instance, it would be mental health experts explain why those with anxiety may find comfort in scary movies. So if you copied this one, you would probably put a colon right here and then have this part. It's also, of course, obviously fine the way they wrote it on here. Okay, let's find our own example now. So let's say KATC. Okay. Now, if we're copying if we're referencing this article, this would be our title. The name of the news organization is KATC, and the person who wrote this is listed as KATC News in the byline. For this type of reference, you do not need to flip it. This is not a last name. News is not this person's last name. This is the generic used whenever someone at their news desk writes a story. And as you can see, this was posted today at 7:26. Oh, excuse me, March 8th at 7:26 and updated on March 9th. When a story is updated, use the most recent date as the publication date. So in this instance, it was originally published the night of March 8th, but this information was updated to on March 9th. Now, if you look at the newspaper article version, this is a bit different. You still have the author, you still have the date published, then the title is not italicized. The name of the paper is italicized. And if you open this one, you can see here's their title. And here's the byline listing Benedict Carey as the author, the publication date as March 22nd, 2019. And of course, it's from the New York Times, which is a published newspaper. Therefore, we are following the published newspaper format. Now, for other sites, government agencies, this is something you'll have to go through them and look at them. Now, let's see this one. Okay, so there is no byline listed right here, correct? So it's published by the organization, National Institute of Mental Health. Now, where did they get July 2018? Sometimes you have to scroll to the bottom. Okay. Now, this says last revised July 2018. Unless otherwise specified, some pages will include this information as well. Now, when they include this type of information, okay, so in this instance, they say the author is always National Institute of Mental Health, unless otherwise specified, include the complete title. And if you're citing the web page, include the page title, full URL, and date you retrieved the information. In this case, it wasn't necessary. The way we are citing it says the most recent update, which was July 2018. And the name of the page was Anxiety Disorders, which we can see right here. And the National Institute of Health is part of the US Department of Health and Human Services. And then here's our URL.